Well, I just think we need to follow the law. That's all, period.
Does that mean?
It just means that.
It
means that we just have to follow the laws.
Meanwhile, in Ohio yesterday, John Kasich, Republican governor, former Fox News host, former right-wing nutjob congressman, will sign a budget bill. What does the budget bill have to do with a woman's right to choose an abortion? Well, in the last hours of debates regarding the budget, anti-choice provisions were added by amendment with no hearing, no debate, no comment period, no chance for lawmakers to consider the impact of this legislation, buried within the budget bill so that there could be as little public discussion as possible. That, I think, on that accord, it probably failed insofar as there was a lot of protests about this in Ohio. But the effects of the Ohio legislation, which of course was just a budget, is that rape crisis centers will now operate under a state-imposed gag order. If you are a rape counselor and you are dealing with a victim of rape, you cannot tell an impregnated rape victim that they can legally terminate their pregnancy. Additionally, if you are in Ohio, you will find that Ohio has now basically defunded all Planned Parenthood clinics across the state. You are also forced, if you are seeking an abortion, to undergo a state-mandated, completely medically unnecessary ultrasound, even if the woman patient does not want one, and even if the doctor doesn't recommend one. The state is forcing you now to get a completely unnecessary ultrasound. Women will also have to pay for that completely unnecessary state-mandated ultrasounds. Doctors will now also be required to deliver a Republican-written speech to women seeking legal abortions, whether or not the doctor believes that anything in this speech is valid, necessary, or accurate. And in a wonderful two-step, the bill requires clinics that provide abortion services to have a transfer agreement with local hospitals. In many instances, there are no hospitals locally available. However, that is irrelevant because the bill also bans, the law now bans public hospitals from establishing those agreements. And finally, the words pregnancy and fetus have now been redefined in Ohio state law, making the determination that a woman is pregnant even before the fertilized egg is implanted in the uterine lining, which could very well mean that IUD devices are illegal in Ohio. And just in case you were wondering, Kasich has a line item veto authority, which many state governors can have. We don't have that on the federal level. It's found unconstitutional. Where he could have vetoed those specific provisions in the budget, and he chose not to. There's a wonderful photo where he is surrounded by 5 or 6 old white guys cheering him on, presumably, to strip women of their constitutional right for access to abortion. So that's Ohio for you. It remains to be seen what the fallout from that will be, but hopefully people in Ohio are aware that it has taken place.
Maintain an abortion.
Well, I just think we need to follow the law. That's all, period.
Does that mean?
It just means that.
Metropolitan area?
It means that we just have to follow the laws. And that's what the health department did.
Do we need abortion clinics in the state?
I'm just telling you that we need to just follow the law.
Right.
Thank you.
You have to sell a little bit, even though that's part of what people have a hard time with. Think about this. Have you ever been stopped by a policeman who was an idiot? I had this idiot pull me over on 315. Listen to this story. He says to me, he says, you passed this emergency vehicle on the side of the road and you didn't yield. I said, I didn't, officer, what are you kidding? I didn't see any, I didn't even see where the heck was it? The last thing I would ever do would be to pass an emergency. Are you kidding me? He says, well, I understand that. Give me your license. Goes back to the car, comes back, gives me a ticket, says you must report to court. If you don't report to court, we're putting a warrant out for your arrest. He's an idiot. We just can't act that way. And what people resent are people who are in the government who don't treat the client with respect. Maybe that's another thing we have to think about, right?
John Kasich promised to make Ohio great again, but he gave over $100 million of our tax dollars to big corporations, while Ohio continues to lose jobs. Now Kasich is using Senate Bill 5 to destroy collective bargaining rights for Ohio workers. Kasich and other politicians took over $3 million in campaign contributions from corporate special interests who could profit from Senate Bill 5. It doesn't have to be this way. We can stop Senate Bill 5 by voting no on Issue 2.